Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that.
I'm being told that Shedeur deserves better, that he needs a more uplifting media. We should be out to uplift rookies and young players.
I don't think it's like that. I don't think that he needs that. I also firmly disagree. I don't want to step in it, but I firmly disagree with Jason last week. I'm like, you want him cut. Why do you want him cut? You want him cut because you're tired of seeing people say nasty things to you on the internet? Do you want him cut because it's hard to cover him? Do you want him cut because when you say you don't think he's a good quarterback, that he's got a big fan base and they go after you for it? Is that why you want him cut? Because wanting a guy cut from a team is a very strong thing to say. Saying that we should move. Why? You don't do anything for the media. You don't do anything for that. If you want him cut from the team, it should be because he's a detriment to the actual team. Now, I don't know all the story. Maybe we'll find out that he's a terrible teammate. I don't think we will. But if you found out a guy was a terrible teammate and not that good, that's a reason to cut the guy. Just because we're bickering amongst each other about a quarterback doesn't mean the guy should be cut. I thought it was a crazy thing for him to say, and I stand by it. And I'll say it to him to his face, and I've told him on the phone, and I'll tell him on the air again. I love Jason. I disagree firmly because I think we've lost our minds. Especially when it comes to him, I think we're nuts. I cannot state to you guys enough. I'm going to go on a bit of a soliloquy here. You can stop me if you want. Go right on ahead. Like some of the stuff I read over the weekend, I thought it was insane. Insane. I told you guys a million times over. Browns first. Browns first. Not Shedeur first. Browns first. If you guys want to call Shedeur fans a cult, go right on ahead. If you want to call anti-Shedeur fans some sort of a cult, fine. I just want to let you guys know I'm part of neither of them. He's the quarterback for the Browns, and as of right now, he's the best option that they have. To me, it's not Deshaun, and it ain't Dylan Gabriel. If you guys want to have conversations this coming off season about Mac Jones and about Malik Willis and about just about anybody else, there's a couple of guys absolutely I'm not interested in whatsoever, certainly. But if you guys want to have conversations about those guys, I am perfectly fine for it. It's Browns first. That doesn't mean anti-Shedeur. It means I want what's best for the football team. As of right now, he's the best option. He's shown me enough. If they ended up getting John Harbaugh and John Harbaugh goes, he's got to go, I would like a plan after that of what he wants to do. If John Harbaugh thought that Mac Jones is going to set the world on fire and we got to get Mac Jones, so be it. So be it. If we can find a way to get number one overall without having to give up the entire draft Mike Ditka style, so be it. But my God, some of you guys have lost your minds wanting to cut a guy. Well, the fans are mean to me. I don't give a damn how mean the fans are. I just want to give anybody a chance on the team. I've had guys who flat out hated me. One in particular. And I still wanted him to win. Browns first, Guardians first, Cavs first. It should always be that way. He plays for the Browns. That's where it is with me. Sorry, I'm off the soapbox now. Go right on ahead.
I don't really disagree with anything you just said.
Well, it's amazing because I just catch a bunch of hell from a bunch of people going, oh my God, Ken's been brainwashed. Oh no, you guys spend way too much time on the damn internet arguing with people who are probably bots or not even big Shedeur fans or just trolling.
Which can be fun.
I'm sure there are big fans out there, but for the love of God.
Which can be fun. And yeah, I might have put out that Indiana won with less 5 and 4 stars with Mendoza than Colorado did with Shedeur. I might have put that out this week.
Hey, you're tweeting at one thing at 8 a.m. Saturday morning. I go, what's the point?
So I do think that this is where I part ways with Jason Lloyd, is that I do not think Shedeur is such a, quote, circus, or that, like, let's say, I'm just going to conjure up one scenario, and I know everybody in Cleveland's out on Dante Moore because he had a hellaciously bad game that everybody was watching. I remind people that's not, NFL evaluators don't do that. They're not just out on a guy because they were watching the same game you were. Like there's some people that believe he has more arm talent than I actually think. Not just some people. I think he has more arm talent than Mendoza, but he's not ready. So, is there a world where, hey, if the Browns evaluated Dante Moore, that they just fell in love with him, that they could draft him and start Shedeur week 1? Believe it or not.
Why couldn't there be?
I think that could be a plan. It's risky, but I don't think what I thought before the year, which is, well, you can't have Shedeur on the same team as a rookie that you draft. That would cast a shadow. I don't believe that anymore because I've seen it. Shedeur seems entirely likable. Like he could deal with that. I don't know if his fans could. I don't know if some people close to Shedeur could deal with that. Could deal with, and both, and vice versa.
Being a placeholder if they were to draft Dante Moore or something.
Hey, I mean, Trey Lance in San Francisco was there, and he was supposed to be the next guy, and then they realized he couldn't play, and so you never know how that, you can't totally forecast how that goes.
I'd much rather have Shedeur going into next year than Trey Lance on the record. Yeah. I mean, if we're being this way, but it doesn't have to be. Like Shedeur to me has demonstrated not only can he actually play the position. That's the first step. Some guys don't prove that. DTR. I don't think they prove that. I saw enough, despite how low he is statistically, even below those guys I just mentioned, he's demonstrated enough that he can compete for a job, and I don't think he'll be a massive distriction. And the way that Jason thinks. And if I go away from this, just fine. Remind me as we go through this 4-month odyssey going ready for the draft. Like, I question the Jets if they want to move out of that number 2.
All we know is everything that he just said was stupid. We know it was dumb. Why was it dumb, Snacks? Because you just saw it happen last year. You don't draft another quarterback when you have one. And you especially don't draft a rookie quarterback like Dante Moore, who has no propensity to be even in the same stratosphere as Shedeur. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. You know what I'm saying, chat? It's crazy. What's up, Reginald? You related to the Sanders family? Good looking, dog. That's a good family to be related to. That is a really, really good family to be related to. But what we gonna talk about today is these coaches that they have in mind for the Cleveland Browns next season. Now, I know I was supposed to do this yesterday, and I hope y'all forgive me for last night. Like Brock had put in the chat, was I asleep? No, I wasn't asleep, Brock, last night. I was caught up with some family stuff and was really unable to get this thing popping last night, which I wanted to get it popping last night, but we gonna get it popping today because we just gonna go over a few of these coaches that the Browns have in mind for bringing in the season next year. Some of them make sense, some of them don't. But I did some research on some of these coaches and looked over some things, and we just want to give our opinion over who's who and what's what for the sake of what coach might fit best with what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's a few. It's not a lot. But I'm listening to all of these guys on the radio. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening and I'm taking in what they say, and some of it makes sense, some of it don't, and most of them are brought in and sucked up under John Harbaugh. You know, because John Harbaugh is the most recognizable and probably the most successful of all the coaches that they've talked about. But he might not be the best fit for what Cleveland is trying to accomplish. And people are hung up on whether Shedeur is going to be the starting quarterback for next season. And I'm saying, yeah, he's going to be that, because what other options do you have besides Deshaun Watson? Shedeur and Deshaun is going to be there because he's owed the most money, and his money is guaranteed, and he ain't going nowhere. There's no way they get rid of Deshaun Watson unless some team comes in and say, yeah, we'll take that contract off your hands and we'll take him with it. Other than that, that's not happening. Deshaun ain't going nowhere because his money is guaranteed. And when all of your money is guaranteed, every freaking dime, why would you leave? Even if you don't play, you gonna sit there and collect $40-50 million next year just for sitting there with your legs crossed going, okay, go ahead, Shedeur, run it up, brother. You know, I am with that. What you got, Reggie? If you remember when Prime's Aunt Bet had a husband and his ex-wife, not going to mention the name, well, she's my uncle's wife, I'll leave it there. Oh, okay. I got you right now. I got you. So we're going to start with these coaches. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. All right. Let's see. So we'll put it like this. For the Cleveland Browns fans, for the NFL fans, for the chaos lovers, you know. Because once again, the Browns are shopping for a head coach like it's Black Friday and they got stole credit and not cash. This is a bigger than just X's and O's. This hire decides the quarterback, the locker room, and whether Brown's Twitter is crying. Probably about week 6. Let's see. We're going to break down some of these coaching candidates, why Cleveland should hire them, and why they absolutely not hire them. But most importantly, what it means for Shedeur and his chances of starting in Cleveland. We're going to start with Coach 1. Is let me see, where do I put him? Ted Monken. Ted Monken, who I have as Todd Monken. I'm sorry. It's Todd Monken. Why should the Browns hire Todd Monken? Todd Monken is that hire where ownership say we're tired of being embarrassed at the family gatherings. Todd Monken is a proven offensive mind, hence Lamar Jackson. Todd Monken has coached multiple quarterback types, knows Cleveland already. He knows the Cleveland system because he's been playing them twice a year for quite some time. And Monken don't need to win the press conference. He just needs to win on Sunday. He ain't that type of coach who's going to try to make a spectacle out of the press conference. He's just going to give you point A, point B, not be so bland. He's going to answer your questions and not avoid the main topic of the question. He ain't going to be so PR all the time. Now, the question is, what is he good at? You know, Monken is good at what? In my notes I got, he's good at simplifying the offense for quarterbacks, adjusting schemes instead of forcing square pegs in the round holes, and he's good at game planning that actually respects reality. Meaning he can put together a good game plan for the quarterback that he's using at that particular time. He adjusts the game to the quarterback, not just stick to what his offensive strategy was at the beginning of the game. You know, Monken can do some things with a small amount of players. He's good at the adjustables. What's the possible outcome with Monken? With Monken, Cleveland becomes per se quite normal. And pretty much for the Browns elite, normal is elite. Monken pretty much has a top 12 offense, quarterback that plays within the structure, which is Shedeur on some levels. Defense isn't gassed by halftime. Why they should not hire Monken? Because he's not that flashy. He's no viral personality, and his ceiling might be very good instead of league breaking. In essence, he's not sexy, but neither is winning 10 games, and people still love it. Probability of Shedeur starting, if Monken was the head coach, is probably around 65%. Because Monken is one of the few guys that you trust to actually build around Shedeur instead of trying to turn him into somebody else. Instead of trying to do what Stefanski wanted him to do, is become that little dink and dunk quarterback, that quarterback that plays on time, that quarterback who gets the ball out real quick, instead of that quarterback who reads the defense, doesn't see what he wants, and then makes something else out of what you have. Monken would allow for that. Unlike Stefanski, who, no, bro, we need you to get the ball in and out of your hands on time and not play with it. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. You know, do that. Don't do what everybody else would have thought that you would have done. Let's see who else we got. Some more stuff on Monken that I had what? Monken, he's not that old. He's only 59. He's been coaching for a long time. He was a offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. In 2019. So he's been in this Brown system before. You know, so it wouldn't be hard for Monken, and he got some head coaching experience. Now, Dan Pitcher, who is currently the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Dan Pitcher is the new school playbook plug. He one of them young guys, one of them guys that's hype about this generation of football. This is the hire Cleveland says we're tired of being stuck in 2014. Dan Pitcher is a modern coach. You know, he has all these modern passing concepts. He's a young guy, so that means he's pretty relatable to all the young players on the team, since Cleveland is going toward that younger side. Most of the players on Cleveland next year will be 34 and younger. You know, he's an offensive first kind of thinker guy. So he would bring that spark to the offense. Pitcher is the guy who walks into the room and the quarterback say, okay, this dude gets it. You know, he's that type of, he could be that type of head coach. You see what he's done with Joe Burrow over there in Cincy. You know, what he's good at, he's good at the passing game, rhythm, quarterback confidence, exploiting spaces and mismatches. So he draw up, his playbook is extensive. It's not what you saw last year in old Graybeard's playbook. You have great spacing. You won't see those plays where you'll have three receivers in one area and who the hell are you going to throw the ball to? You'd have space and places where Shedeur can find open receivers in 2 or 3 different areas. You know, wouldn't tie up a lot of space around the field. You know, Pitcher he's a young, innovative guy. That's why Burrow is, he can light it up. And when you have good receivers like 1 and 5, like Cincinnati do, you know, you'll be able to, oh my God. And with Shedeur as a pocket passer and with his accuracy and the way he delivers the ball and puts the ball in the spot where only his receiver can catch it, yeah, that offense would be dope. You know, the best possible outcomes is you'll get an explosive outcome with Pitcher. You'll get quarterback growth year over year. And the Browns will finally become a team defense's fear. Instead of saying, hey, now when we got Cleveland this week, ain't no big deal. You'll hear them talking about, okay, we got them Browns this weekend. We're going to have to tighten up. Who we going to double team and how fast can we get to the quarterback? You know, it's one of those offensive guys. See, what the Browns need to do mostly this season is a offensive-minded guy. I don't know why you need a defensive-minded quarterback when your offense has the biggest deficiency. I don't know why you would be looking for a defensive-minded head coach. But why would you not hire a pitcher? Number one, because he's the first-time head coach. You know what I'm saying? And being a first-time head coach, like Stefanski was, you don't often make the great decisions. You'll be learning on the fly. Cleveland is not a training facility, and he's going to have to hire a strong veteran staff to support him and help him through this growing process. Because Cleveland ain't a place you learn how to lead. This is where leadership gets tested over up in this joint. Like I told y'all before, Shedeur wasn't growing this season. He was being tested. It wasn't about how you do things. But if they were to hire a pitcher, I think Shedeur would have probably something like a 75% probability of starting. So that means if pitcher gets the job, Shedeur Sanders is the first phone call he makes and say, hey, bruh, we need to talk about, I need to get you this playbook. We need to sit down and have a conversation about the things you like and how comfortable are you with rolling out, rolling left, rolling right. What are your expectations as far as play action, running backs, and things of that nature? It's going to be a difficult season of hiring when it comes to this Cleveland Browns quarterback position, this coaching position, because people will tell you Cleveland is not the most desirable spot, mainly because of the history, not because it's not a good place to play football, but because of the history of the franchise. And with this current ownership, who knows? And in those coaching circles, everybody talks. So everybody already knows what you're walking into when you're walking into Cleveland. Now, let's talk about Mr. Harbaugh. The one that everybody and their mama, is looking to hire. Is Mr. Harbaugh. I don't know. Simply because he is one of the most highly sought after head coaches right now, because he is a Super Bowl winning head coach, because he has been on one job for 18 years. And when they're talking about hiring Jim Harbaugh, the question that comes up a lot is, what do you do with Andrew Berry? You don't do nothing with Andrew Berry. Jim Harbaugh didn't hire his general manager that was at the Ravens. He didn't hire Ozzie. Ozzie was there when he got there. Every time you fire a head coach don't mean you have to get off of your general manager. That don't matter. Just because you get rid of your head coach doesn't mean your general manager is often out the window. There are several general managers who have been in their position beyond 2 or 3 head coaches. Ozzie Newsome, just to speak of one. Ozzie Newsome has been with the Ravens since the Ravens have been in doggone Baltimore. He's been through all 3 head coaching changes. So just because Harbaugh comes in doesn't mean Andrew Berry goes out. And keep listening to the Cleveland media. they keep saying that's what's going to happen. That's not necessarily true. So this is the shut up everybody hire. Because if you hire John Harbaugh, he's a big splash. He would be the coach that nobody expected you to hire. But why would the Browns hire him? This is the enough is enough move. John Harbaugh will give you instant respect throughout the NFL because you were able to pull off a hire that nobody in the NFL would even think would happen. You get instant buy-in from the locker room because everybody that plays in the NFL respects John Harbaugh. And the media will finally shut the hell up and fall in line. You hire Harbaugh and suddenly Cleveland's not a punchline. It's a respectable program because of Harbaugh's stature and who he is and what he's done in Baltimore over the last 18 years. And what is Harbaugh good at? Culture, building a culture, holding people accountable for what they do and say, and dealing with big personalities, which is Shedeur. He's the biggest personality in Cleveland since LeBron ain't there. You know, he's managed Lamar for all this time. You know, so why not? What else? What is the best possible outcome with Harbaugh? I got so much going on right now, man. Oh my God. What is the best possible outcome for Harbaugh and the Browns? The Browns stop beating themselves because your special teams get better because that's what Harbaugh is best at. He's originally a special teams guy. He was a special teams guy with the Eagles for many, many years before he started moving up. You will probably become consistently a playoff team. And it'll probably keep you stable for about 5-6 years, if that. But why should you not hire John Harbaugh? John Harbaugh is going to be expensive. And when I say expensive, I mean $20 million plus a year expensive. Andy Reid is the only coach in the NFL that makes $20 million. But he got multiple Super Bowls, and they are recent. Harbaugh's a little bit old in the tooth, a little bit long, a little bit older gentleman. And he's going to need an elite OC for quarterback success. Harbaugh is not by any means one of the most innovative head coaches in the league. Harbaugh is old school. Harbaugh is tough. Harbaugh is grit and grind, you know, but with Harbaugh, you buying safety, trying to stay safe for the next 5 or 6 years. Because that with Harbaugh as your head coach, you'll get that respectability throughout the league, and then that'll calm your fan base down a little bit more. Shedeur's probability of starting with Harbaugh as the head coach is probably about 50%. You got to remember, Harbaugh tried to draft Shedeur Sanders while he was with the Ravens. They wanted him then. But Harbaugh is not going to start a quarterback simply because they are a big personality. Harbaugh is going to start whoever wins, not whoever is selling all the damn jerseys. It's just that simple. It's not going to be a lot of this and that when it comes to John Harbaugh. I don't know why I keep calling him his brother. His brother weird as shit, but you know, it is what it is. But Harbaugh is that guy that you hire to be in safe mode for the next at minimum 5 years. You know, Harbaugh can get you till the stadium come up, you know, till you build the dome, and your fan base will probably still buy into Harbaugh because they've seen what he's done up close and personally, because you've been in the same division for the last 18 years. So they'll feel more comfortable with him. But this is Cleveland. No matter what. Half the fan base is unruly. Hell, half of them want Stefanski back right now. And I don't understand that at all. At all. Y'all tell me. I don't know why they want Stefanski back. Man, I ain't seen no reason for him to be there in the first damn place. Damn, why y'all all over? I got too much stuff going on, man. I got a lot of stuff going on in my house right now, man. It's crazy. You got work happening, construction, people outside doing the yard. Then I got my tow truck driver. I called my homie this morning to come get my Suburban so he can go to the shop. I got a couple of things I need to get fixed on it. So I'm waiting on them to show up, snatch it up, take it to the shop. But I'm getting the Suburban ready for my 16-year-old son. That's going to be his truck. He don't know it yet, but that's going to be his. He's 16. So I'm not finna be your chauffeur. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna make sure it's hot, but we ain't going out and buying you nothing new. You know, you're gonna finish your senior year. You're gonna ride to school looking good. You're gonna sound good. You're gonna have a big truck. It got 24s on it. You gonna shine. You know, it just ain't gonna be brand new. You know, you gotta respect that. How many of y'all got brand new cars when y'all was a teenager? I know I ain't gonna tell that lie. Because my grandmother bought me my first car. Mustang 5.0. Cherry red. LX convertible. Bad to the bone. 6-speed. Go get them. I'm talking about boss. Yeah, that one. You know, even though I ain't no boy, I ain't no Ford guy. That was the last Ford I ever owned. I'm a Chevrolet man. I'm a Chevy dog. I got 2 Escalades outside. No Suburban. I don't do that, dog. I don't do that Ford thing. I'm a Chevy guy. We only ride GM products around here. You know, forgive me for sinning the first time, but it wasn't my fault. I didn't pick that car. She bought me that car, and I wasn't gonna turn it down. At 16, with a Mustang, a Boss Mustang, and that LX convertible, y'all had to be tripping. Y'all had to be tripping. Y'all thought I wasn't gonna take that. You dropped the top on that thing, and you riding good. I was still in high school, dog. That was crazy. But I was a spoiled kid. My grandma was the only child. You know, my grandmama's only grandson. Y'all crazy. I was it. I was the biggest baby in the world. Wasn't no child spoiled like me. My brothers and sisters, oh, they hated me. Because the only thing I got to do is say, hey, I'm going to call my grandma. I bet you I get what I want. Happened every time. All the time. My mama and daddy bought us an Atari. We had just moved to Texas, living in Tyler. My daddy was just stationed in Tyler, Texas, teaching ROTC at the high school. We had an Atari 2600. Now, I got two older brothers. They didn't want to share at all. My mom and daddy be going to work. I'm getting punked around the house. You know, they playing the game. I want to get my turn in. They don't want to pass the controller. You know what I did? I called my grandma. And say, hey, I keep trying to play the game. My brothers won't let me play. They keep punking me out. Grandma say, don't worry about it, baby. I got you. Atari 2600 and Atari 5200 at the house. Came in a box. Wasn't my birthday. Wasn't Christmas. It's the middle of the school year. But you know who had two Ataris? Today one. And can't neither one of y'all play on mine. Go in the living room and play on that one mama and daddy bought. Don't nobody touch this right here. Because it's mine. My grandma bought two controllers and all the games. Nobody gets to play my game. And know what my mom and dad used to tell my brothers and sisters? That's his. We didn't buy that. His nana bought that. That's for him. If you want to play his game, if he say no, that's on y'all. And then she called. Yes, ma'am.
Hey.
Right.
Is it gift card on Amazon account that yours?
I don't know where them extra funds come from. I don't know if it's mine or not. I started to use it the other day. Call Mackenzie. I don't know. I don't know. They probably just put it on there because we spending a lot of money. So, you know, I don't care. Use it. Since y'all in the middle of the live stream, yeah, she called. She don't be caring. I'm just saying. She don't be caring. She just, like I told y'all, I got a lot of stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? And it just be popping up from everywhere. It ain't me, dog. They just pop up. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'll talk to you later. Bye, girl. Don't start. Don't do that. Do not start. Do not start. Okay. I love you. I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye, man. Get off my phone. Stop playing with me. You know I'm in the middle of this live stream. Don't play with me. All right. Bye, knucklehead. See what I'm talking about, man? I got to deal with this type of stuff every day, all day. It's just overflow. Well, now, where were we at? Because I've been telling stories. I ain't even got back to what we supposed to be doing. Where we at? We need to be on Nate Scalia. You know what I'm saying? Nate Scalia. We would do Tommy Reese, but I don't know about Tommy Reese, so we don't do old Nate. Old Nate. Old Nate. Old young Nathan. I think we can do Nate. I think we can do Nate. Old young Nate. Now, young Nathan over there with the Rams, he's the Ram passing coordinator. Old Nathan. Don't nobody know about Nate. Nate Scalia, he the mystery box quarterback. And why would the Browns hire this dude? Because he ain't never did nothing. He ain't got no head coaching experience, but he young. He innovated. You know, this is the trust the brain hire. Nate one of them creative type of guys. He got a quarterback background and he got a shit ton of fresh ideas. You know, he like old Dan. You know, he come up with some good passing concepts. He like teaching mechanics, and it won't be one of those playbooks with a bunch of tight spacing. You open the field up, you know, where holes will be created in a lot of defenses. You know, but Nate is more than an unknown. He's an unknown guy because he fairly new to the NFL, but he been making waves since he been in the NFL. He one of them up and comers. He one of them dudes that you take a look at and be like, Now, we know Nate that guy. Oh, Jenkins, see, you talking about Antonio. Now, y'all know I've been an advocate of Antonio Pierce for a minute because Antonio, see, you took it there. I was trying to stay away from them old head, them regular hires, but Antonio is the first one they should have brought into the building. That is one of the first former head coaches that should have been brought into the building. Because if Tom Brady wouldn't have fired Antonio Pierce, Shedeur Sanders would have been the Raiders quarterback this season. Without a doubt, without question, I'm telling you that's where he would have been. He would have been at the Raiders, starting quarterback this season. Would have been the number 9 pick in the first round. That's exactly what would have happened. Antonio Pearson already said on national TV live that he had the blessings of Mike Davis. They had already agreed to draft Shedeur if he hadn't lost his job. But he lost his job, and this is where we at. But I've been advocating for Antonio Pierce all season because I knew y'all know I've been saying Kevin Stefanski wasn't gonna last, and the first person they should have been looking at is Antonio Pierce. Should have been the first or the second person through the door. But young Nate is what we talking about. Young Nate Scalia, you know what I'm saying? You know, he gonna be innovative with his offense. You know, everybody in the NFL like this young man. Think he is one of the next guys to break through their head coaching ranks because of the ideas he had and the offenses that he draw up. You know, he has a bunch of offensive breakthroughs. He getting praised all throughout the league, and he gonna bring a bunch of energy to that offense. Now, why you should not hire him? Because he gonna be a big ass question mark. He gonna be a super duper jump. He gonna be one of them guys that, you know, we heard of him, but we ain't seen him in this capacity yet. He ain't got no head coaching experience, and Cleveland it's just a bad place for rookie head coaches. Ask your boy Kevin Stefanski. He lasted 6 years, but them was probably the worst 6 years of Kevin Stefanski's life. You know, It's either gonna be boom or bust. Ain't gonna be no middle ground for Mr. Scalia. But if he is hired, it's a higher probability for Shedeur Sanders to get that start. You know, I give it about 80%. If Scalia gets hired, Shedeur is probably buying him a house in Cleveland because we're gonna be here a while. You know what I'm saying? A young fella like that, man, and that's what the NFL is moving towards. All these younger coaches, because all these old heads, they still stuck in the early 2000s, 80s, and 90s. You know, they still stuck on, we gonna run the football, we gonna run the A gap, we gonna run the C gap. You know, I'm surprised they ain't brought back the fullback yet, but that's coming. You might see a fullback or two next season. You know, you might get a fullback here and a fullback there from time to time. But Scalia is that guy. It's a guy you take a hard look at and say he might be something positive. But that's what scares owners and GMs in the NFL, and that's why all these coaches get recycled. Because don't nobody want to take no chances on no new blood. Everybody's scared of the new blood, you know. But you can't be proven unless somebody give you a job. You don't get no head coach experience unless somebody give you a chance. You know, everybody want that proven head coach. That's why John Harbaugh is so high on everybody's list. Because he's been there and done that. But can't but one team give him a job. Everybody's so scared of these new guys because they are unproven. Even Kevin Stefanski, he was unproven. It was his first time being a head coach. Of course, his next job, he gonna do better because he learned over here in Cleveland what not to do, what works and what can work. He already said, whoever hired me this time, I ain't calling no play. I'm gonna hire me an offensive coordinator and I'm gonna stay away. I'm gonna let them call the play. See, that's one lesson he learned. He should have learned that a long time ago. He should have stopped trying to call plays, stopped trying to use his playbook. If you're gonna be a head coach, be a head coach. Get you an offensive coordinator and let him do his doggone thing. You know, you might pitch in and do your part and say what's good here or there. It's just like Deion. Deion's a hell of a defensive guy, but he a head coach. He hired him a DC. I'm gonna work with these backs because that's my specialty. That's what I'm good at. He know the whole game, but he ain't trying to take it away from his defensive coordinator, his offensive coordinator. Most people don't know. Deion played quarterback in high school, was one of the best in the state. But he ain't trying to play offensive coordinator. You know, and if y'all following Colorado over there tearing up the Porter right now. They're over there hitting home run after home run after home run. A bunch of SEC guys jumping over there. There's a whole lot popping off in Colorado, but we gonna get to that this week because everybody keep wanting me to catch up. I'm gonna catch y'all up because them CU aunties been on my head, dog, about these no Colorado videos. And I'm sorry, ladies. I'm gonna get y'all straight. Prime been over there popping off. Colorado been over there doing the doggone thing. They just got Boo Carter this weekend. So, and Boo Carter was originally one of them guys they was trying to get to come to Colorado when he was coming out of high school. But now he's 2 years into Tennessee and was like, okay, I done went to Tennessee and got this little change. He in Tennessee, he acting up a little bit, showing out. Now, we're going to get you to Colorado. We're going to get some discipline in you. But now you're going to come over here and learn how to play your position from the best who ever done it. You want to go to the league? You want to be one of the top DBs in the country? Come holler at me. Come on over here and play for me. Because we wanted you anyway. But you had that little ruckus about yourself. You was a little arrogant. Now you done went to Tennessee and showing out and acted up. Now you got to come over here and let me learn you something. Let me teach you. Let me get you together. But Prime over there acting a fool right now in Colorado. But see, Prime wasn't there last year. And I wasn't mad at him. Like I told y'all, I've been telling y'all through some of these videos, if y'all been paying attention, Prime didn't touch nothing that had to do with Colorado last year. He wasn't there because he was dealing with his own personal problem. He was dealing with that cancer stuff. So everything that transpired in Colorado last year, Prime didn't touch. He couldn't do nothing but deal with the players that was there when he got there, when he got back. He trusted some people to make the right decisions, to bring in the right players, to do the right thing, to bring in the players that they thought he would want. And they did something to that effect. But Prime wasn't there to put his stamp on it. He wasn't there to okay him. He transferred in. He didn't get to holler at him. He didn't get to feel it in the inside and say, no, this ain't gonna work for us. They only here for them. But this year, oh, it's gonna be totally different because he putting his stamp on everything. He meeting with all the players. He getting to interview them. He getting to talk to them. He getting to talk to their families. He getting to do all the things that he didn't get to do last year. He touching it right now. So, Prime, if y'all are watching what Colorado is doing right now in the portal, the Big 12 might be in trouble. The Big 12 might be in trouble. Because Prime over there cutting up. I mean, acting a donkey. I mean, Prime over there acting a plum fool over there in Colorado doing the doggone thing. I'm just saying. And we ain't got time to talk. We ain't got time to talk. I'm talking about Prime is over there acting up. Just on safeties alone, we talking Boo Carter, Randon Fortinet, and the boy from New Mexico State, the defensive back, Mr. Mitchell. Boy, Prime is over there acting a donkey. Y'all ain't seen him. Y'all ain't seen him. And that new defensive lineman they got from Maryland, 6'4", 315, Cedric Smith. Boy, Prime been over there just getting dogs. y'all ain't seen what Prime over there doing at CU, boy. Y'all better pay attention. Pay attention. And I mean, pay real close attention. Because Prime is over there acting ugly. Jordan Seaton coming back for his final season. That's all I'm saying. The new offensive coordinator he hired, the one that I've been trying to tell everybody to go get when he was at UNLV. I told y'all 2 years ago, Prime need to go get that man for OC. But he over there cooking. He over there cooking. Prime is over there doing the doggone thing, and y'all think Coach Prime over there playing. Coach Prime ain't over there playing, man. Prime been at Boo Carter since he got out of high school. Boo know he should have came to Colorado from the jump. But he went to Tennessee, showed out, did his doggone thing. But now he got Dylan Manuel, who committed. You know, he coming out of Georgia. Then they got what's his name, Mr. Camara, who also committed. But yeah, Prime over there showing out. Y'all ain't even paying attention. He brought in Josh Niblett from the high school ranks. Josh Niblett used to be a coach at Hoover High School in Alabama, where I'm from. So I know about Josh. Josh is a real football coach. I'm talking about a real football coach. He about that life. Now, y'all need to understand what Colorado is doing. See, everybody thought it was easy because Prime got sick and he ain't touched nothing last year. Prime back. He 100% back. And he finna make it rough. Texas Tech down there spending all that money, you know. But Colorado ain't got money like that. They just doing the doggone thing. Yeah, Brendan Marion gonna be the OC this year. That offense gonna look completely different. I mean, completely. Juju gonna be throwing tater bombs everywhere. They got them some running backs. Boy, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. That secondary is a whole different second. They ain't gonna be getting beat like they was getting beat to sleep last year. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be none of that. This year, we gonna do a bunch of watch parties on Saturdays and Sundays. We might be locked in. Watch party on Saturday, watch party on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be real spicy when Colorado is back on the scene this season. Y'all don't see it. I don't think nobody paying attention to what Colorado over there doing. Prime over there doing something real crazy. Prime over there doing something real crazy. That secondary is gonna be a whole spicy. It's gonna be a whole lot of spicy things going on this weekend. That's all I'm saying. They added Emory Floyd from App State yesterday. Added Emory Floyd, another big cornerback. Oh, ain't gonna be running no footballs. Ain't gonna be doing a lot of nothing. They got the guy, what was that? The safety, Rondon Fornette from Vanderbilt. It's just gonna be crazy. Then he already got them big defensive line. He gonna show that offensive line up. And then what they gonna do? The wide receiver core was already crazy. Now he just needed to get everything else on the backside together. Got them offensive linemen. Who did they get? They got that big boy from Maryland. Prime out there doing the doggone thing, man. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is, y'all better get it together. Because Colorado finna be about that life. And we're gonna be popping them tags. Okay, let me get back into what we supposed to be. Because one person I don't think they should do, but they are doing it, is defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. Now, the Cleveland media is adamant that Jim Schwartz should be the next head coach in in Cleveland. I don't know why. We seen Jim Schwartz at work when he was in Detroit. Jim Schwartz is the floor, not the ceiling. Schwartz is familiar because he's already the defensive coordinator there. Schwartz would be like, we hired him, so he ain't no trash hire. He brings toughness to defense and the discipline, but we already know that. We see what the defense is. You still need some people that can make some tackles on the defense because your run defense is trash. Your run defense is trash, and you're getting ran out. The people just running over you like you was at Colorado last year. Ain't what he good at though? Defense. Every coach is good at accountability. It wasn't all that great when he was in Detroit. It depends on who he hires as the OC. And if they hire Jim Schwartz, that means Tommy Rees would probably remain as the offensive coordinator. And do you really want that? And will Tommy Rees change up the offense? Will it be his offense or will it be the same offense they ran last year, which was Kevin Stefanski's offense? Because he got the playbook on that. That's the question. But Jim Schwartz would not be a phenomenal hire. He would not move the needle at all. It would be, all the players in there are used to him. Not being the head coach, but they are used to him in some capacity. They have had to deal with it. The best thing Jim Schwartz can bring you is a top-tier defense, a little bit more physical football. You might be competitive every week, but that depends on who the OC is. And then who's going to be the defensive coordinator? Because once again, are you going to try to be the head coach and the DC? Or are you just going to be the head coach and hire somebody else to run the defense? And you just give your input on the defense? That's the question. So once again, why would you hire him when your offense is your biggest problem on your team? Your quarterback development is going to depend on your OC. Who are you going to hire as your offensive coordinator? You already sitting at your ceiling if you hire him. You know what I'm saying? Your defense is going to be the shit, but what about your offense? And I don't know if Shedeur starts with Jim Schwartz as the head coach. He might want to go with Deshaun. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go with Deshaun. But why? But whoever they hire is gonna tell you everything about Cleveland's future. If you want quarterback growth, you hire pitcher, Monken, or Scalise. If you want stability, you hire Harbaugh or you hire Monken. You putting your defense as your first thing in mind, then you hire Schwartz. Because that's what he gonna bring. The Browns need to hire an offensive-minded head coach. reset the quarterback timeline and finally stop lying to themselves like they matter. Because right now you don't. Because you can't build a future while pretending it's 2020. This ain't about names. This ain't about nostalgia. This is about whether Cleveland is ready to build forward or stay stuck where they are or stay stuck in the past. You know what I'm saying? Because this is where it gets real interesting, because coaches tell you who they are by the quarterbacks they work with, and the defensive coaches tell you who they are by the defensive coordinators they hire. So let's see. Let's go back to Monken. Let's go back to Monken. Who Monken worked with? Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? An NFL MVP. A whole lot of production. He worked with Stetson Bennett because he was the OC in college at Georgia. Todd Monken won 2 back-to-back national championships. Which is something like working with Baker Mayfield adjacent offenses in Cleveland. Monken got multiple college quarterbacks across different skill levels. Monken don't need no Superman. He builds the suit around whoever shows up. That's who Monken is. Monken builds his offense around who his quarterback is. That's why he's one of the best fits. Why would he fit for Shedeur? Comfortable with the pocket movement. He let Shedeur play confident with Shedeur's style of play, not play like a robot and just 1, 2, 3, go here, go there, go there. He let him freestyle a little bit. And if Shedeur is having some bad days or some off games, Monken ain't gonna panic. He knows how to calm a quarterback down and work with quarterbacks. That's what you want. Somebody who can improve upon what you have. Shedeur under Monken wouldn't be asked to save the franchise. He'd be asked to run the offense. Now, if Monken picks a different quarterback, it would be a veteran bridge quarterback, which you only have one, and he already on staff. Or will he say, let's go get us a rookie? And if you go get a rookie, that means you got to go get rid of Shedeur. That means no hero ball, no nothing. If Monken is the head coach, who's the OC? Monken is the OC because Monken is the offense, but he still hired an OC. He probably hired somebody like Scalise, a young pass game coordinator. A detail-heavy quarterback coach, someone who can translate his system to modern players. That's somebody like Scalise. Because Monken brings a balanced style, modern style, efficient style, and he's aggressive, but not too heavily aggressive. It's something like controlled violence, where you just go bust people upside the head and still do some things. We ain't trying to kill nobody, but we do want to hurt a few people. Something like that. It's something like that. But then we move, because we ain't done. We going back to pitching. We going back to pitcher. Hold on. That's not pitcher. We going back to pitcher. Because pitcher. Who has pitcher work with? Joe Burrow. And we see what Joe Burrow can do in the passing game. High level passing game influence. He's also worked with backup quarterbacks and rotational players. Now, his system would be built more around anticipation and timing. You know, it would be to get the receivers open, but you would still have to throw with anticipation and for receivers to get to a spot. And soon as they turn around, the ball would be right there. You know, stuff like that. Pitchers comes from the throw you open school. You know what I'm saying? He one of them boys like, yeah, but when you see him cross here, this window should be open, so throw it. And that should get it. Why he fits with Shedeur? Because pitcher loves QBs who trust their arm, who can read the leverage of the wide receiver, the leverage that he has on the DB, and a quarterback that plays with confidence. Yeah, he kind of love that. Shedeur with pitcher green light offense. We talking about throwing for days. Shedeur might throw for 5,000 with pitcher running the offense or as the head coach. Now, if he ran with Deshaun or somebody different, but I don't think pitcher would want somebody like Deshaun. I think he'd rather have a rookie quarterback or a younger quarterback with a lot of upside. I don't think he would want a washed up ass veteran or somebody who's just been a journeyman shuffling around the league, you know what I'm saying, moving about from team to team, ain't really had no starts. He wants somebody that he can develop and put them in a position to where they can throw the ball, because pitcher ain't gonna want no scared ass quarterback. He wants somebody who gonna want to sling that thing and take a few chances here and there. You know, he probably hire an offensive coordinator, but he'd hire someone with experience. You know, an experienced offensive coordinator, somebody that like to run the ball and keep the game balanced. Probably a veteran offensive line coach, and probably somebody that's either been a head coach or back to an OC, or a more experienced person that can keep him balanced and keep him even keel and not getting too far above himself. Now, as far as his style would go, that man will be aggressive as hell. I mean, we slinging this rock. Without a doubt. The rock will be thrown. We gonna throw this tater. But it won't be that old school ass NFL offense. This will be some new stuff. And it'll probably be some stuff we ain't never seen before. You know, I mean, this dude would be off the needle. I mean, he gonna have Shedeur out there just taking chances. Don't worry about it. We good. We want you to throw this thing. If it look like he halfway open, throw it. You know, he gonna have people complaining that Shedeur out there taking too many chances. Yeah, that's how aggressive he would be with that rock. But, you know, those those are the two I see more. Besides Nate Scalia, I ain't worried about Harbaugh because we know who Harbaugh done worked with. Harbaugh done been with Flacco. He done been with Lamar. You know, he had multiple backups in that system, and the system fits. But the thing is, Harbaugh don't develop quarterback. Harbaugh just there to be the CEO and make sure the special teams are right. You know, that's what he's there for. You know what I'm saying? Harbaugh wouldn't be nothing special. You know what I'm saying? We all know he'd hire an offensive coordinator. You know, Shedeur would probably fit right on in wherever he goes because we all know he wanted to draft Shedeur. You know, Harbaugh is a leader. Harbaugh got 18 years of NFL quarterback and head coaching experience. You know, he ain't trying to bring in nobody new. You know, he ain't got no time to be trying out no people. He didn't see Shedeur play. He know what he brings to the table. He wanted to draft him in the first place. So he probably do just that. Let's go with Shedeur. If Shedeur doing okay, we good. But if he didn't, he'd take a veteran quarterback, which would still lead him to Deshaun. You know what I'm saying? Deshaun is already good in the locker room. That's still his team. I'm still his boys. He just been hurt. You don't listen to the Cleveland media. The Cleveland media don't know what they talking about. They the only ones that want to get rid of Deshaun. You know, they want to get rid of Deshaun for other reasons, not because he can't play football. They want to get rid of Deshaun because he got that contract, not because he ain't a good quarterback. Yeah, Deshaun ain't played that many games in Cleveland. You got to remember, when he came to Cleveland, he hadn't played an entire year. He had not touched the field. Then when he came back, he was suspended 11 games. So that only left, 6, 7 games for him to play that season. Of course, he wasn't going to play that great. When you out of football that long, you're not going to be that good. And then he played 5 games and got hurt. And ain't touched the field again. That's why the Cleveland media hates Deshaun Watson. Deshaun ain't never did nothing to nobody. They can talk about them charges. He wasn't found guilty. He was innocent. Them charges was thrown out. So let that go. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nothing for them to worry about. They hate Deshaun Watson because he black and got all that money. We just gonna tell it like a T.I. is. Cause ain't no other reason to hate him. Cause he ain't played. He ain't did nothing. They hate him because he got all that paper. It ain't his fault he got hurt. That ain't on him. That's on them. And what I'm saying, why would you hire Harbaugh? Because you need a modern offensive coordinator, somebody that's good, a good quarterback coach who's going to help develop Shedeur, going to help him get better, and going to be positive in his ear. You ain't seen Kevin Stefanski hollering at Shedeur like he the offensive coordinator all season. But you know, we're not going to even talk about Tommy Rees, but Nate Scalise. Nate Scalise is one that would work. You know what I'm saying? He's worked with a bunch of college coaches, college quarterbacks. You know, he was great when he was at Iowa State. You know, he can help develop a bunch of NFL developmental quarterbacks. And everywhere he's been a passing game focused type of guy. So if he was to come in, that offense would be totally different. It would be innovative. It would be modern. And they would take a lot of chances. And you'd probably see some things you have never seen an offense do before. You know, while him and Shedeur would fit together like hand in glove, because Shedeur is his type of quarterback. You know, Shedeur got that arm talent. He is precise with his passing, very, very accurate. And he can make a play when the play breaks down. You know, Shedeur would be able to be free up under a guy like Nate Scalise. He'd be able to operate under Shedeur standards. You know, it would still be don't take them sacks, and which I don't even know why they still harping on sack. You haven't seen Shedeur roll it backwards out the pocket all season. After the doggone Ravens game, the things that they hated about Shedeur and they talked about so much, you hadn't seen it. None since he's been a starter. But you know, Nate Scalise, Shedeur would be his perfect type of quarterback. And Nate Scalise loves working with quarterbacks. He don't want nobody who just gonna manage the game and go out there and dink and dunk and, you know, be safe. He want a quarterback who won't go out there and throw that thing. We talking about you might get one or two passes down the field right now out of Shedeur, but Scalise, yeah, we talking 3, 4, 5 bombs every game. We slinging that thing down the track. You know, he still have to hire an experienced offensive coordinator because it's his first time on the job. He still need some veterans on his staff to help him. You know, he needs somebody who gonna keep him under control when it comes to clock management, and somebody who's gonna help him not make so many mistakes as a rookie head coach. But his aggressiveness would be off the charts. We talking about somebody who can make it do what it do, baby. I'm talking about Nate. Nate is that guy. Nate is that dude. I mean, I'm talking innovative. I'm talking about creative. I'm talking about somebody who is really willing to take chances. Somebody who's willing to stand in that thing and say, this is what, don't worry about the outcome. If it's an interception, it's an interception. We'll worry about that on defense. Defense got that. You go out there and play football. Don't worry about if we're going to take you out the game. None of that. Just go play. And you might see some new stuff out of Nate that's crazy. Yeah, you see it. You see Nate got Puka going berserk over there. You see it, Texas. Oh, that's Nate Scalia. That's him. Puka out there and had two tremendous Pro Bowl seasons behind Nate. Yeah. Matthew Stafford ain't never looked that good as a quarterback. Old as he is, back problems and all, Matthew Stafford ain't never looked that good. Period. That's all I'm saying. That's all Nate. He out there doing it. That boy know football. He know offensive football like that. I'm talking about he out there just, ooh. It's a few people, man. That dude out of Cincy and Nate, dog, Dan Pitcher, Nate, and Todd Munkins, them the three. But people, they want this big splash of a damn hire. They want the guy that's gonna draw the attention. No, you want the guy that's gonna have an effect on your squad. That's gonna help you put points on the board. That's gonna make it easier for your quarterback to do what he got to do. They want the big splash hire. They want the big name. Don't nobody care about that. John Harbaugh, don't ain't nobody scared of John Harbaugh in the league no more. Because everybody know what he can produce. They can see you got one Super Bowl, and it wasn't because of your quarterback. It was because of your defense. Because you had Ray Lewis in them back there. Even though I said the boy showed up in playoffs, he was kind of regular during the regular season, but Flacco did show up in the playoffs. Flacco was a different quarterback when playoff time showed up. But you need Monken, Pitcher, or fucking Scalia. You need innovation. You need new stuff. Because to keep running it back with these old heads ain't getting you nowhere. And then you brought in Stefanski, who came in with an old school ass playbook. A playbook that was developed in the late 80s, early 90s, and thought that shit was still gonna work. No, it's not gonna work no more. He didn't try to reinvent the wheel. He just bought a new wheel. And Ty had flat more. It was flat in a few different areas. Oh no. They just need an entire new thing. I don't think hiring John Harbaugh is the way to go. John Harbaugh is not a good coaching hire, if you ask me. I want to see what G. Bush got to say.
Especially if he's only played 7 games.
Yeah, no, I think that's 100% true. And I think for me, 15 years, 9 different organizations, you would be shocked at the level of incompetency in some of the coaching that goes around and some of the, and for me, I had the perspective coming from New England, which I just talked about being with Tom Brady and the way Bill Belichick would run team meetings and the way Josh McDaniels and Bill O'Brien would run an offense. And I would go other places and I'd be like, that's it. That's the plan. That's all. Like it's a 2-minute team meeting. Bill Belichick's talking for another 57 minutes in his team meeting. And so, the level, I don't think people truly understand the level of discrepancy from the way that the best teams do it and some of the mediocre or even the poor teams do it. And I think your point is, if you bring the right person in, now it's a two-way street. You have to be able to be coachable. You have to be able to absorb the information, work at it, acknowledge where you have a deficit and get better. But it's definitely, if you have the right guy, it can make the world a difference. But I do think at a certain point, those coaches, they don't cross that white line. So the player has to go out and be able to execute everything that's taught to them, everything that's drilled with them in practice. That's why, there's certain teams that are moving on and there's teams that aren't. And like you said, there's no better way to win in the NFL than to have great coaching and great quarterback play.
It's funny because in the last 3 years, I guess you have 3, we've seen situations in Cleveland where Kevin Stefanski takes a team to the playoffs with 5 quarterbacks, some of whom probably should have been selling insurance, not slinging pigskins in the NFL. And he was praised. He was recognized as coach of the year. He took the team to the playoffs. it's almost impossible to believe that just 2 years later.
Okay, that's enough of that. Let's understand that what Jay is talking about. That y'all don't listen to me, and people don't listen. Kevin Stefanski went to the playoffs twice. Each time the Browns went to the playoffs, they were not using Kevin Stefanski's playbook. I'm going to leave it right there. That's all I'm going to tell you. Every year they used Kevin Stefanski's playbook, they did not make it to the playoff. They did not have a great season. They did not put up a bunch of yards. The quarterback sucked, and that's why Deshaun Watson kept telling them, we can't play with this damn playbook. They need to change it. If Kevin Stefanski would have stayed as head coach, Tommy Rees was getting fired this season. I'm telling you right now, without question, without a doubt. He fired Dorsey. He fired the doggone OC before that. Kevin Stefanski was going to fire Tommy Rees because he had to get the blame off of him. Y'all, these people don't realize what they had when Kevin Stefanski showed up in the building. When Kevin Stefanski showed up, you had a playoff team. You had a playoff caliber team. And in 2 years, Kevin Stefanski dismantled that squad. Tore it apart. Tore it apart. And they used his playbook. He got Baker Mayfield hurt. Finally got Baker out of there. Got Deshaun in him. Had to wait on Deshaun to come off a doggone suspension. And then Deshaun got hurt. But they went 2 years in 20. That was Kevin's first year. They didn't use Kevin Stefanski's playbook. They went back in 2023. Used Ken Dorsey's playbook. Ken Dorsey got fired. That's all I'm saying. So you tell me, Kevin Stefanski still using that old ass playbook from 89, 90. That's the same offense that Bill Walsh with Jerry Rice to be. You right. It's the same playbook that Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Dwight Clark, and all them motherfuckers was using. It's the same playbook. It's old. It's outdated. It's no finesse in that. The wide receivers and the defensive backs are too fast to use them long-ass developmental plays. The defensive lines are too good now that unless you was sitting back in the pocket like was last night, just back there marinating and holding. You could light a cigar and pass it around the way Caleb Williams was sitting in the pocket the other day. Oh my God, that was ridiculous. But you can't run those playbooks now. They outdated. Everybody has gotten better. Everything has improved. You can't wait on an 18-yard route to develop now. You can get your head knocked off. You can't go to the car and make a left. No, you got to hit that slant and go. You got to be behind. And that was Jerry Judy's problem half the year. He too damn slow. It wasn't, couldn't get off. He too little, too light. Need to get in the gym. Because when them DBs strong, once they put their hands on you, you got to get him up off you. You know, I'm watching what's his name on the Eagles last night, getting pressed and slamming DBs to the ground. Antonio Brown, I'm watching him. DB putting their hands on him, he just making them fall. You just gotta catch the ball, sir. You look like Jerry Jeudy last night. Out there just dropping the ball. Kevin Stefanski and Pat Shermer from the same offensive tree. Yes, they are. And they use the same playbook. But that's where Kevin Stefanski got his offense from, Pat Shermer. That's why we knew Shedeur was the best fit for this offense, because it was the same one he ran in college. Wasn't no different. You think they should get A.J. Brown or Brandon Ayuk? If they want to spend the money on AJ gonna cost a pretty penny. But he would be a good number one. But because he is a big ass baby. You know. Shedeur's a superstar, but he don't pout, whine, and cry. A.J. Brown, he pout, whine, and cry. On the internet, in the locker room, and everywhere else. So we don't know. We have to see who's gonna do it. It's gonna be a couple of free agent receivers that they can reach out there and get. They're just not gonna have to not be scared. And I think Andrew Berry has got the green light to do whatever you got to do to get what you need to get in here to make Shedeur's job easier. So I think they're going to start on that offensive line front. They waiting on these playoffs to end. You ain't got to worry about the Super Bowl team because they ain't switching up now. And when they let people go, you're going to be able to do whatever you want to do. You know. Once the season is over with and the Super Bowl is over with, then the work can begin. Right now, you can't do nothing but hire a coach. You know, you ain't finna get no players moving and you ain't finna do too much of nothing. You gotta hire a coach before you do anything else. Because ain't nobody coming to Cleveland if they don't know who they playing for. And it's just that simple. Your coach is your first and only priority right now. You get your coach in the building because don't nobody, it might make a difference if you can get a player or not. You know, you hire a player, get you a player signed, and then all of a sudden you hire your coach and that player don't like your coach, you ain't gonna get the best out of your player. You know, you ain't gotta worry about what's already in the building. They just gonna adapt. But when you're trying to bring somebody new that's gonna help your team, somebody that you want, somebody that you gonna need to help you thrive, you know, they gotta know what they coming to play for and who they coming to play for. So Brown's first priority is to get them a coach right now. Well, not right now, but go through the process. You know, I don't know if Kevin Stefanski get a job for real. I don't think Kevin gonna get another head coaching job right now. Not this year. I think he gonna have to take a year off. Just like Antonio Pierce. I think he gonna have to take a year off. Get that stench up off you. Because right now, you sitting on the cusp of you made some very, very bad decisions. That the way Kevin Stefanski handled this quarterback situation, a lot of teams looking like that, looking at you like, bruh, that's how you handle big decisions like that? That's how you handle major situations? That was a major decision. That wasn't nothing to be taken lightly. That was something that could hurt or hinder or help your program. And throughout that situation, he made bad decision after bad decision. So that one instance might hurt Kevin Stefanski for a while. Because people looking at that like, bro, you just handled that really, really, really bad. Piss poorly. And it might not be no coming back from that. Because you had one of the best quarterbacks on your team. You put him last. You didn't even give him no reps with the ones. You didn't even let him practice with the people, but you made him quarterback too. And then you put him in the game. And to hear your players make it known that, hey, that was the first time we ever heard that man call for the ball. To hear him say that was the first time that I had ever thrown a pass to Jerry Jeudy or any of the number one receivers. You know how detrimental that is? You know, teams looking at you like, what they talking about? The first time. We've been playing 9, 10, 11 weeks into the season. What do you mean that's the first time? What are you talking about? Yeah, they looking at you like that. Like you really did that. So yeah, that one decision, that might put Kevin Stefanski, ooh, that might put it a little dicky in there. But it was his choice. You know, you didn't like what the quarterback bring, even though he was better than what you had. And then the other teams watched just like we all watched and saw that Shedeur was better than what you put out on the field. And you chose to go with those two instead of him. Yeah, I don't know if we want you working. No, I don't know if we want you making decisions for our team, but it look like you don't know what you do. See, and that might be on him. You know, it just might be his downfall. Yeah, we can go get that. But we're going to see what it's going to be. Anyway, I got to get out of here. My man is here to pick up my truck. And I'm not going to put y'all on hold like that. So we're going to get out of here. We're going to shut this thing down. I appreciate all y'all for coming out. We're going to drop some more videos today, later on today. And I got to take my son to the podiatrist at around 2 o'clock. So your boy's going to get out of here. I'm going to holler at y'all. Appreciate all y'all for coming out. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get ready for some more shit. I'm out of here. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace out.